Hello student. Today we are going to discuss about method of refining. That is a topic number 6.7 in which we will discuss how the metal can be purified, how it can be refined. We have a mainly 6 method as shown in the thumbnail as well as on a screen. One by one we will going to discuss each and every method. Before we are starting our topic, let's get a bird eye view or overview of these techniques. Our first method is a distillation. Then we are moving for the liquefaction method. Then the next, the well-known method is the electrolysis. We have idea about electrolysis. Then the important method is about a zone refining method. And then we are going to vapor phase distillation. You can see the plant of distillation. And the last but not the least, we have a chromatographic method. So let's get started. A metal extracted by any method is generally impure and it is known as a crude metal. The impure metal is purified by subjecting it to a process of purification or refining. Depending upon nature of the metal and impurity present, various refining methods such as distillation, liquefaction, electrolysis, zone refining, vapor phase refining, and chromatography are used. Let's look at each of these technique in a details. The first one, let us study distillation. This process is used to purify metal with a low boiling point, such as zinc and cadmium and mercury. In this method, impure metal is heated into a retort and its vapor are separately condensed in a recover or a receiver. The pure metal distilled over leaving behind a non-volatile impurities in a retort. Let's look at another refining method, that is a liquefaction. This method is used when impurity is less fusible than the metal itself. In this technique, an impure metal with a low melting point, such as tin or lead, can be used. Tin or lead is heated at just enough temperature to melted using a sloping heat. The impurities with a higher melting point do not melt and stay at the top of this sloping surface, while the molten metals flow down there by separating it from an impurity. Another important refining method is the electrolysis. In this method, the impure metal is made the anode strip. On the other hand, pure metal in it is made a cathode. An aqueous solution containing a soluble salt of an same metal is used as an electrolyte. On a passing electricity, pure metal is deposited on the cathode. The more basic impurity goes into the solution, while the insoluble impurity, particularly the less basic one, settle under the anode as a anode mud. The portion shown here is known as the anode mud. For example, copper is refined by the process of electrolytic refining. Impure metal copper is made the cathode. Impure copper is made a anode, while this strip of the copper is made the cathode, which is a pure in the form. An acidified solution of a copper sulfate is taken as the electrolyte. On a passing electricity, copper atom from the impure copper anode loses electron to become copper 2 plus ion and enter into the electrolyte. These metal ions are reduced at the cathode and deposited as the pure form. The more electropositive impurities like iron, nickel and zinc are left to the electrolyte as their sulfate, while The less electropositive impurities like silver, gold, and antimony are settled at the bottom of the anode and known as the anode mud. Noble metal and precious metals like gold and silver can be recovered from the anode mud. Other metals like silver, zinc, lead are also purified by this same method, means by the help of electrolysis. Now let's discuss about the important method, that is a zone refining technique. This technique is based on the principle that impurities are more soluble when the metal is in its molten state than when it is in the solid state. This technique is used for obtaining a metal with a very high purity. Process are carried out in an inert atmosphere to prevent a metal from getting oxidized. In this technique, a movable circulate heating roller is fixed at one end of the rod of a impure metal. The metal melts in a zone called a molten zones. As the roller moved to the other end of the rod, when heating roller shift forward, the metals of the left cool down and crystallize, while the impurity dissolve in the molten zone. In this way, the impurities keep shifting to molten zones to the right and pure crystalline metal is obtained on the left. The process repeated several times till impurities are completely removed. Elements such as semi-metals like germanium, silicon, gallium, as shown in a picture, germanium, silicon and gallium, which are used as a semiconductor, are refined by this method. In another refining technique, which is vapor phase refining, the impure metal is first converted into its volatile compound. The volatile compound is then decomposed to give a pure metal. It is essential for this technique that the volatile compound can be easily formed and it can be easily decomposed. Let us consider now one example. Let's say you have a nickel as an example. Now nickel react with the carbon monoxide and form a complex compound, that is a nickel tetracarbonyl at a temperature of 300 to 350 Kelvin. The nickel tetracarbonyl is then heated to a temperature 450 Kelvin to 470 Kelvin, where it decomposed to give a pure nickel and carbon monoxide. This method is known as the Mond process of refining nickel. Another example of a vapor phase refining is the Van Arkel de Broglie method for the purification of a titanium or zirconium. In the method, titanium or zirconium, which contain oxygen or a nitrogen as an impurity, are heated in an evacuated vessel with the iodine to form titanium tetraiodide or zirconium tetraiodide. The metal iodide is volatile in nature, then decompose on a Weik Happen tungsten filament at 1800 Kelvin to give a pure metal. Now let's move on to the last refining technique, that is a chromatographic method. In this method, metal and the impurity are separated by the difference in their relative adsorption with an adsorbing material. A mixture to be separated is applied to the stationary phase and mobile phase is allowed to run slowly to the stationary phase. You can see in a diagram, then we run mobile phase slowly to push a component to be separated. We flow mobile phase from the upward side and we can get separation of the component. The component of a mixture get partition between mobile and stationary phase and thus get separated. So, in this method, metal can also be separated. Now, depending upon the physical state of a mobile phase and a stationary phase, and also on the passage of the mobile phase, different chromatographic method such as paper chromatography, then we have a column chromatography and gas chromatography are used. Let's look at column chromatography, which is used for purification of metals that are available in a mixture quantity, and the chemical properties of the impurities are not much different than that of an element to be purified. In this method, alumina or silica gel is packed in a column and serves as a stationary phase. The mixture to be separated is placed on the top of the column. A suitable element is allowed to go down to column slowly. Depending upon the degree to which component in the mixture are dissolved, complete separating takes place. Let us study now the uses of some chromatographic method. Now we are going to discuss about the use of a commercially important metals such as aluminium, copper, zinc and iron. First of all, let's start with the aluminium. Aluminium foils are used as a wrapper for chocolate, medicines and food items. It also be used as a dust form in a paints and liquors. Since aluminum is a more reactive than a chromium and a manganese, it is used in a extraction of that element from their oxides. Aluminum is used to make electric wire as it is a very good conductor of electricity. Aluminum alloy are light and very useful. For gamma
example,
alloy and duralumin alloy are important in the manufacturing of aeroplane parts. Now let's look at some important uses of another set of metal, that is a copper. Copper is used for making electrical wire. Copper pipes are used in a home and industries to carry water and steam. Copper forms alloys such as a brass with a zinc, bronze with a tin and coinage with a nickel. These alloys are harder than a copper and has a many domestic and commercial uses. Zinc is used for galvanizing iron. Galvanized iron is not corrode and it is used to make a pipe, roof, I-beams, fans and wires. Fencing and wires can be also formed from the zinc galvanized iron. Zinc is extensively used in a carbon zinc dry cell or a battery. Zinc form alloys such as brass with a copper, German silver with a copper and nickel. Brass is used in musical instruments, doorknobs and ornaments, while German silver is used to make silver plated cutlery, idols and jewelry. Zinc dust used as a reducing agent in manufacturing of a dye stuff and paints. Cast iron, the most important form of iron, is used for a casting stoves, railway sleepers, toys, and gutter pipes. It also used in the manufacturing of a wrought iron and steel. Wrought iron has several uses. To name of the few is to make anchors, wire gates. It can be also used to make bolts, chains, and agriculture equipment. An important alloy of an iron is a steel, which has many domestic and industrial uses. Different varieties of steels can be obtained by adding other metals like nickel and chromium, a cobalt and manganese to it. For example, nickel steel. For example, nickel steel, which has a varying amount of iron and nickel, are resistant to a wear and tear and can withstand mechanical shock. Hence, nickel steel are used to making cables, that is a wire one kind of. It also be used for automobile, aeroplane parts, pendulum, and in the manufacturing of measuring tapes. Similarly, chromium steel are extremely hard and resistant to wear, oxidation, and corrosion. These are used in a armor plate, cutting tools, crushing machines, and stainless steel used for the cycles, automobile, utensils, pen, cutlery, and surgical instrument. These are the main use of a stainless steel. Okay, fine. That's all from my side. So here we are complete our refining portion, and the remaining portion will be discussed in the next lecture. And again, the procedure will be the same. You have to complete homework and send it to me. Today's homework is about your exercise. Go through exercise, read the question, try to understand what they are asking about. If you don't getting what is the meaning of the question, then ask me. I will guide you. And complete the exercise, click a photo and send it to me via WhatsApp. Thank you so much.